Hello, and welcome to the Light Reading Podcast. I'm Phil Harvey. I'm an editor here at Light Reading.
I'm Kelsey Zeisler. I'm also an editor at Light Reading.
Hi, I'm Cory Davis. I'm with Verizon, and I lead our public safety operations team and our Verizon response team.
And Cory is not only a repeat guest, but he is in a much different location than the last time we spoke with him. Cory, where are you right about now?
Yeah, right now, Phil, I am at the Verizon Frontline Network Command Center in Los Angeles, California.
Okay, so that means that you are somewhere outside the site of Super Bowl 56. You are on site for what exact reason? Now, I know Verizon has decked out the stadium, SoFi Stadium, with 5G Wi-Fi, but mostly 5G everywhere. How does that relate to your role on the outside in the command center?
Yeah, absolutely. So here at the command center, so the command center is staffed by technicians, engineers. We're monitoring the network 24/7. So everywhere that the Verizon network touches throughout Los Angeles, including in and around SoFi Stadium and the Super Bowl, we're monitoring that to ensure that, our customers have the best experience possible and that we're able to keep our network up and running as much as possible at 100%. And you can probably hear it sounds like we're doing good. So that's a good sign.
Everybody was very happy to hear that. Yeah. That obviously proof that you're if you aren't watching this, so this is available on video and audio. If you're just hearing the audio portion, so Cory's in the command center. Obviously, people are working around him. So forgive us for the background noise, but it's kind of necessary because it's not a giant space, and there, as you can hear, there's a lot of activity going on. Everybody's getting ready for the big game. We're recording this, just full disclosure, we're recording this on February 9th. So we are on, is that a Wednesday? Yeah, it is Wednesday. Sorry, COVID. I've lost my sense of time. Yeah. And so this, they've been, prepping for the big game for, a number of days and weeks. So, but you also, and this is why we're also having you on, you made good on your offer to give us a slight tour of what's going on around you. Okay, so Cory sent us some video clips of what he sees at his end from the command center, and we're also looking at the Thor vehicle. And I do want to get into, why it exists and what it does and all that sort of thing. But in the command center itself, one of the things that folks will see is there's monitors everywhere, people stacked on top of people. What are what are some of the things that are actually being looked at while you're there in the command center? Obviously, you're looking at network performance, like you mentioned, but what else might the average person not even know is going on there?
Yeah, so when we think of the command center, we think of it three primary functions here, Phil. So we like to equate it similar to a football team. Mm-hmm. So we have an offensive team. And that offensive team is our systems performance team. Like we were talking about, they're making sure that the performance of our network is running well, it's stable, monitoring overall customer experience throughout. And if there's any issues that arise, they open up a trouble ticket, and then they'll hand that off to our defensive team.
Okay.
Our defensive team is our operations network assurance team, and then they're responsible for operating and maintaining the overall network. And then we also have a special teams team. They're responsible for all of the backhaul monitoring, our vendors, our tower crews, our transport, our switch centers. So as you can imagine, there's a lot of folks in here. There's a lot happening. Yeah. But we look at it just like a football team. So we have an offensive, defense, and a special teams. And then the goal is really, like we talked about before, is to ensure to keep our network at 100% to the best of our ability and to be able to respond very quickly if anything happens.
Excellent.
Mm-hmm. And can you talk a little bit about what it took to set up the command center and also what it takes for Verizon Frontline to prepare for such a big event like the Super Bowl?
Oh, yeah. So
are there a lot of sleepless nights?
So sleepless years, Kelsey. So when Verizon starts thinking about the Super Bowl, we literally start thinking about 2 years in advance. So we've been thinking about this Super Bowl since about 2 years ago. So years of planning, lots of dry runs, lots of drills. This team has been 24/7 here for about a week. going through scenarios, going through tabletop exercises, all the what ifs. If this happens, what do we do? That way that if something does happen, if there is an emergency, we're able to deploy mobile assets or deploy our Verizon response team as quickly as possible. So, lots of folks here, lots of personnel at the command center, just monitoring the performance to ensure that our customers and our public safety customers have the best possible experience.
Mm-hmm. And you mentioned, it's a 2-year investment in this. Can you talk a little bit about what some of the connectivity challenges perhaps that you had to overcome to get prepared, and just give us a little bit of an idea of what that investment really looked like to get ready for this?
Yeah, so Kelsey, in 2019, Verizon, we deployed our ultra wideband 5G coverage in about 13 NFL stadiums. Since then, we've increased to over 25 stadiums across the country and more than 60 sports and entertainment venues across the country. For SoFi Stadium specifically, so think SoFi Stadium, the campus, the Hollywood Park area, Verizon's invested $119 million in network enhancements. So part of those investments include 169 new small cells, 4 new macro cell sites. So those are the large tower sites that you see, and then 24 in-building sites. And then throughout the Hollywood Park and the SoFi Stadium, but they're happy about those investments again.
Yeah, very celebratory.
Like
yeah.
This is not what it is in a typical journalism office.
Yeah. No. Lots of good energy here today.
Good.
A lot more optimistic.
Yeah. So around Hollywood Park and the SoFi Stadium itself, we've deployed and installed 472 new 5G nodes. So that's inside the stadium, outside the stadium. And the fans attending, if they look underneath the seat, they might even see some of those 5G nodes underneath their seats.
Oh, interesting. That's a lot. That's, I don't know, a lot better than when you're on the airplane and you look under the seat and you're like, where's the flotation? I can never find it.
Right.
But that's...
You can grab on to 5G radio. Yeah.
And what's even more awesome about it, guys, is we leave it here. So it's not like, I talked about, we start thinking about the Super Bowl 2 years in advance. So we're already planning for the Super Bowl in Phoenix next year. We're already thinking about the Las Vegas Super Bowl that's going to be in 2 years.
Right.
But we leave all of these capital investments here. So the city of Los Angeles, knowing it's a world city, they're going to be able to take advantage of this technology for years to come. We got the World Cup coming. We have the Olympics coming. So they're gonna be set up for success for the near future here.
Yeah, that's excellent. And what they were saying earlier was that it was the most connected stadium on earth. Like, this is the biggest 5G investment that any company's made in a single stadium. So obviously that'll, like you said, that'll pay off for years to come. But also, I mean, one of the things we've noticed is we've looked at, if you look at, I think Paul Kapuska's Stadium Tech Report and some of the people that track, in stadium use and public venue use, every single year, the Super Bowl shatters every data record previously, and never by a small amount, always by like some gigantic, number of terabytes. And so I can only imagine this is going to be, the same, and that they are doing well to prepare for it.
Yeah, and it's always neat to see too. The the halftime shows seem to get more interactive, and there's more audience involvement, and I imagine that puts a lot of strain on the network as well.
Sure,
absolutely. Well, what's really cool too, from a fan experience perspective, we're able to set up multiple viewing. So if you have the app on your phone, you can actually see in real time while the game's going on, multiple screens, multiple shots, multiple camera angles. So it's really going to be a fan experience like never seen before. And to your point, there's a huge appetite for video. There's a huge appetite to upload that experience, right, to Facebook, Instagram, whatever social media that they're using. So there's going to be a lot of data getting pushed throughout this week for sure.
Excellent. All right, let's talk quickly about because I want to get you back to work before give them more reasons to cheer. The Let's talk about the Thor vehicle. So that's the Tactical Humanitarian Operations Response. Did I get that right? Is that
Yep. Yep.
okay?
You got it.
So
Yep.
this is if you're listening to this audio on the audio feed and you're not watching this. If you're watching this, we'll give you a quick a preview of what Thor looks like. But the Thor vehicle is just picture a giant red Ford F650 that's been modified. It's a 6-seat cab and then a 3-seat rear part that's kind of like a mini command center. What was really interesting in the video clips you were sharing with us is the little command center in the back. That was kind of interesting too, because it's sort of like mirrors very much what you're sitting in right now. Glass seats connected to everything, gauges everywhere, and stuff like that. So obviously, am I correct in assuming that this is basically a mobile network on wheels?
Yeah. So this is more than a mobile network on wheels, Phil. So this is a one of a kind, nothing like it in the world. It's a mobile private Verizon 5G ultra wideband crisis and rapid response command center. So we like to call it's a bit like a Swiss Army knife on wheels. It
Okay.
literally, if you think it can happen, it can make the possible happen, right? So it's built to deploy our Verizon 5G service, but also layer in other applications, advanced computing, mobile edge computing, which gives customers, including first responders and DoD, that extended bandwidth, the high capacity, and then the low latency to do some of these things to make sure that they go out there and complete their mission.
I think we're happy about that. I think I share my enthusiasm with everybody. The other thing about this is so if first responders are responding to something there on site at SoFi Stadium, obviously they can lean on you guys for not just connectivity but compute power and other computing storage related tasks quicker than because at that point they don't have time to leave the site to to do things remotely, that sort of thing. So it's what are there other instances besides sort of being on standby at a big public event where things are by and large things are probably going to be going just fine, but can you tell us some areas where Thor has been recently deployed where maybe it hasn't been going so well?
Yeah, so we've had so recently we had Thor deployed out at Camp Upshur, back on the East Coast, and we were helping out the DoD with the influx of refugees that were coming in. So as you can imagine, there was I think there was close to about 30,000
Right.
refugees at that Army base. So Thor was there to help provide service and provide 5G connectivity for the DoD, the military, the National Guard, everybody that was there that was help processing those refugees as they were coming into the country.
And there's also a drone component to
Yes.
Thor as well, right?
Yes, absolutely. So Thor, we have a drone landing pad. It also comes with a drone. We can also deploy an aerostat, which is like a balloon, and we can deploy all of those either tethered or untethered to create further expand our network bubble, or for search and rescue missions. Right. So we were able to relay that drone out, and then it can in real time, feed us back the information to the command center at Thor. And then that way the first responders can make real-time decisions on demand.
Yeah, I imagine that'd be really helpful in heavily forested areas or forest fires, anywhere where ground visibility is probably difficult. Nice to have that drone option.
Yeah, and that's what's great about having Thor. And as Phil mentioned, built on a 650 chassis, like we could bring Thor into some very rugged terrain where we might not be able to pull some of our bigger assets like our cows, our cell on wheels, or our sack colts that are on light trucks. So it gives us a little bit more flexibility to be more agile, to get closer to where the first responders are.
That's what's interesting about Thor. If you look at the size of it, is It's interesting because it's a big vehicle, but it's not as big as you would think, given all the stuff that you have to do with it, and bringing a wideband network with you. So that incorporates millimeter wave, right, and also just traditional cellular connectivity, and of course Wi-Fi. So I was actually expecting it to be on something quite a bit larger, like a semi truck or something like that.
Yeah. So not only Thor, so we got two masts, like you said, it deploys the 5G ultra wideband, but we also can deploy C-band, CBRS, microwave. It also has it's NIMS 1 compliant from a radio and LMR perspective. So if multiple agencies come in from different jurisdictions, they're able to be interoperable with each other. We got 12 viewing screens on Thor. So as you can imagine, from a situational awareness perspective, it's going to give a lot of folks that air cover to see what's going on around the area of the event. It has two 80-gallon gas tanks and two generators, so we're able to operate Thor for a little over 150 hours without ever having to give it more gasoline or more energy to operate.
Interesting. And then when you do pull up at the gas station, it probably gives everybody a heart attack, right?
Yeah, well, especially here in California, right, with the gas prices. So
yeah, get a Costco membership for that one.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Does it have a coffee maker?
Yeah. That's next.
That's
okay.
next. Yeah. Yeah, no, it fits an awful lot in there. Well, hey, thanks so much. Was there anything else you want to point out that you guys are working on that might get the folks behind you cheering before we let you go? Because I do want to let you get back to work.
Yeah, I think just from a Verizon Frontline perspective in 5G, we're just really excited and passionate about helping transform public safety, either from critical communications, enhanced situational awareness, like we talked about, to virtual reality, to drones. We really feel that 5G will enable life-saving capabilities for those that protect the communities like Los Angeles, like we're here today, long after the game is over. So it's a pleasure to be here. It's a privilege to be here to help out our first responders and all the fans that are attending the game. And we're looking forward to a great week.
All right.
Yeah, well, hope you get to enjoy some of the game as well.
Yeah, really. I hope it's not all work for you, but
right.
Yeah. All right, Cory, thanks so much for taking the time. I do appreciate it.
Hey, it's always a pleasure. Thanks, Phil.
Okay.
Thanks, Kelsey.
Thank you.